Ganesh, should we wait for a minute or two till
Yeah, we'll wait for her. Yeah.
कर सकते हैं नहीं चलो ना देखो ना मेरा कुछ नहीं मेरे पास है सब कुछ अट्ठी देख लो भैया तो आप आने वालों दिखा है अट्ठी तुम्हारे पास है ना नहीं तेरे पास होगा अट्ठी डेली
Others, please mute yourself. Others.
तेरे पास ही जाऊंगी अट्ठी छठी चौकी बस गुलाम चल
Okay, sir. Can we start now?
Start. Share कर screen तुझा.
Yes. Kshitija, you can unmute and you can start now.
Sure. Thank you for joining back, all of you. So I was saying, I was on the first issue of parenting, and the second point which I wanted to stress based on whatever traits I can see from handwriting. I would just like to give a disclaimer here that whatever I'm speaking is sort of my conclusions from various handwritings that I've analyzed, and I'm speaking on that basis actually. But handwriting analysis is more beautiful and more useful when you do it one-on-one basis. So if any one of you is interested in getting handwriting analysis done, or for any of your family members or anyone else, definitely feel free to talk to me and we can discuss about it. Another disclaimer here is that I do it totally as my hobby. I developed this hobby while doing my PhD, and I do it still as a hobby. So I don't charge anything at all for this, and definitely not for Ajinkyan family anyway. Yeah, and needless to say, being a counselor, privacy and secrecy issues are always taken care of. So you should not worry about whether some things that I come to know about you will be told to someone else or something like that. It can never happen.
Except one Dhanesh Shiv, you can publicly tell that about Dhanesh Shiv.
No, Dhanesh, I believe is an extrovert otherwise and very friendly. But when it comes to serious discussions, I have had extremely wonderful discussions with him, and
that's the reason you make it public.
Himself, he's extremely, I would say, a stable person and trustworthy. Yeah.
Thank you, Kshitija.
Thank you for making it public.
Right. So that was a disclaimer I wanted to share with you. So second aspect of parenting, which I always feel is important, is giving a life skill called empathy to our kids. Empathy is going into someone else's shoes and seeing a side of that person, and then try and try and give inputs on that basis. So I believe that we all should be able to give this particular life skill to our kids, because whenever, I'm sure you all have also observed this in your in your offices, wherever you're working, in your teams, that a person who can understand problems of other person is always much better and much acceptable in a team than even a person who might be a little more intelligent than this person who's more empathetic. So we always prefer people who are more concerned, more careful, more caring about others, and because they are generally the ones who can give good advice, they can be a good friend, they can be a good colleague, and all above all they can be a good human being, is what I have observed from this parenting. A lot of this empathy comes from childhood, so it has to be developed from that age. And obviously a lot of it, again, as I said, kids are sponge, so a lot of it comes from how we behave towards our parents, towards society, towards friends, and other public at large in general. Second area of where handwriting analysis is really helpful is in career guidance. I would like to give example again of a student of mine who started his MBA about 4 years back, and I mean, he's from that passed out batch. He was very keen that he should take take marketing, and he should go in finance based on my analysis. He was very confused. He spoke to his family because he had made up his mind about marketing, but I told him it's not your area. You can never be a good person in marketing. I mean, never. When I say never, it only means that based on my handwriting again, analysis again. But when I said that, he immediately started thinking about it. He thought about it for a year, for a week or so, and then he understood that yes, he probably can take finance. He took finance, and today I'm glad to say that he got a starting package of 10 lakhs, and today he is very happy and successful in his life as a career, as a professional in finance. So again, not always this can come true. So in that part, in that sense, I would say this is like horoscope, that you go to an astrologer and it may not always come true. But I always say that handwriting analysis or handwriting analyst is like the person who tells you to take an umbrella when it is about to rain. You cannot stop the rains as such, but you can definitely ensure that you carry an umbrella and protect yourself from the rains to an extent at least. So analysis is that kind of an umbrella which I generally give to people whenever I do handwriting analysis. Third area is recruitment. From handwriting analysis, we can find out whether a person is a cheater, a liar, whether he is likely to commit frauds, whether, or on the other side, whether he's honest, whether he is a good team person, can he be a good leader. All those aspects can be studied from handwriting analysis in recruitment area also. And last is marital counseling. I have successfully done a lot of cases of handwriting, marital discords also, where I could make sure that the husband and wife come back on the talking terms. They, in fact, today are very happy and they are leading their lives successfully. Not just their happiness, but it has translated to the happiness to the entire family. Their kids are also very happy today because things started getting better and better. Obviously, such crucial issues take a lot of time, about a year or two, before we actually can get back everything to normalcy. But nonetheless, handwriting analysis can be extremely powerful tool in such conflicts also. Danesh, the next slide. I think I'm done with the slides. So I would be very happy taking your questions, if any, now, and that way we can discuss more about this area.
Kshitija, I had two questions.
Yeah.
How to start with the 10 lakh package again? That is the first thing. And some people do this analysis on a signature also. Does the signature also make a significant impact on maybe as an analysis point?
Yes. I'm sure you must be kidding about the first part of 10 lakh package. So about the signature, I'm sure, I mean, I forgot to mention about that point. In fact, not forgot, but that's another totally different section of handwriting analysis. So when I analyze handwriting, I definitely analyze the writing, that is the lines, and again, the signature. it is generally said that signature is how do you portray yourself to the outside world. So very often I have seen people who look very different in through their handwriting signature, and they are totally different as human beings through their handwriting. This happens purely for the reason that even we know of some people around us, definitely, who look very different in their families. They are very introverts, or at this sometimes opposite of it, very very extroverts in family. But when it comes to the professional world, you will see that they're not very easily approachable, or some of them can be extremely secretive or hiding, or some of them you would see that they are extremely quiet when it comes to professional life. But when you see them at home with close friends, you will see, and I'm sure being Ajinkyan's, you all know about this, how you go back to your school days and school age when you meet even today. So there you see that the person totally changes from a serious person to a childlike friend at that age. So definitely signature tells a lot about a person, but it tells more about the professional life of a person than personal life.
General is open to question answers. Please take advantage of this session now. You can ask your questions.
Hi, Kshitija. Here is Sudhir. Hi.
Hi.
One question. I call these hocus pocus sciences or hocus pocus arts, such as handwriting analysis, palmistry, astrology to some extent, and such things, iris diagnosis, and so on. Now, the question is, how validated is this handwriting analysis art or science is from the statistical point of view? So, I mean, I work in pharma biotech drug development, where everything has to have some evidence base. Are there any studies concretely that, there are 5 handwriting analysis experts and they came to the same conclusions from a statistical point of view?
I would say I haven't come across any such. I can't say that there won't be any such research being done, but I haven't come across such research where 5 different people came to a particular level. So I would say it is as correct as astrology or as palmistry, because none of them are actually sciences. I mean, palmistry they say today, or even astrology they say today is science. But I initially gave a disclaimer that handwriting analysis is neither a science completely nor an art completely. It does not have, unfortunately, a lot of backing and support or recognition as a different branch of studies. But nonetheless, people have been definitely benefited from this. So this is, you can say, one of those areas where people always have their own doubts about. But I think it all depends on the ability of the analyst. Just like I always say that kundali same hoti hai, but who is the astrologer might change whether the prediction will be correct or not. Similarly, I would say if the handwriting expert has better intuitions, then probably you can come to a better conclusion.
Right. Again, I do not want to actually argue, but there are 2 aspects which come out of your answer. One is that, like you have taken this session, and now we have a certain thing that if a bold handwriting is an assertive person, a soft handwriting is that kind of person. Now, if in the handwriting analyst world, there are some similar kinds of rules, so-called, or conventions, or they could even be called biases. So if 5 handwriting analyst experts, and they call the same biases, I mean, they have those same biases, they would arrive at the same similar conclusions about a particular handwriting. So this is one aspect. So this can be, I mean, everybody can be misled with this. However, the most interesting aspect is that by the analysis of handwriting, how close you come to the analysis of the real personality of the person. So that second aspect is actually more important. Yeah.
Totally agree. I mean, to a person from science background, it all falls back to whether it fits into a formula or a ratio. But unfortunately, no, this cannot fit into that kind of an formula or a set rule as such. But as I said, yes, it would all depend on how properly you can analyze. So with experience, with knowledge, and again with results that you get from analysis, I think the counselor and the analyst gets more and more confidence.
Sure, sure. And I'm certainly confident of you, having heard this. So although I mean I have my limitations and reservations about accepting everything you said, however, I think at some point of time I would send a small paragraph written by my wife. Because ours is an international marriage. I am an Indian, my wife is a Swiss, and she's laughing right now here on the sofa. So at some point I would, if I can get hold of your email later. Thank you.
Definitely, we'll do that. Thank you.
Sudhir sir,
I'll-
Kshitija can
Haji.
also do the face reading. Face reading. If you can show your
Okay.
face.
No, that now Danesh is bluffing.
As,
Yeah,
as
but
per
that's
the,
why.
as per the face reading, you
Danesh, I
as
just
per the
said you are
face
so
reading,
trustworthy.
But
Yeah, I
precisely that's
understand.
why I did not start my video. You can just see a still picture there.
But Sudhir sir, one
Ah.
point can be taken from you. Rightly said that is there any data, authentic data and all that. But Kshitija has got so many cases she has handled in the past,
Yeah.
and she has got case-to-case studies, and which
Yeah.
she may be able to publish in future also without opening who is that and all that, keeping all the secret things. But personality, handwriting,
Yeah.
that can be like published case to case.
Right.
Definitely.
This is excellent. And actually, again, this session is also something of a networking. So, Kshitija, are you a right-handed person or a left-handed person?
Right-handed.
Okay, that's fine because one of my
she's right
colleagues.
that she's a right-handed person and she's right now.
Yeah, and one of my colleagues, she's a doctor, she's a physiologist, she's in Oman, and she has real good international studies of
Okay.
left-handed persons versus right-handed persons. So I
Okay.
will actually get you in touch with
Sure,
her,
I would do that.
so
Yeah.
that you can collaborate with regards to handwriting and actually publish some data of yourself.
Sure, I would love to do that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. So
Yeah,
much.
Kshitija, there is one question from Shankar Yadav.
Okay.
He said tilting of handwriting on left and right side is linked to heart and mind, right? You think by heart or you think by brains. Can you that explain again?
Yeah. So as I said, this is just one aspect of checking whether a person is a thinker by brain more or thinker by heart. As I said, you will have to have the other aspects of handwriting also to conclude about that particular thing. But generally, it is said that tilting, and there are many aspects. So I won't be commenting exactly on whether a left hand means a brain thinker or a heart thinker at this point, because it won't be correct to do that. Because as I said, it has to be in culmination with various other aspects. But tilting on the hand, so you will see some people who actually write a very slopey kind of a handwriting which tilts towards the left, whereas others have a very straight handwriting. Some others can have a very tilted handwriting towards the right. So by this I mean that we generally would conclude about the thought process of a person. So in thought process I mean that some people are in a way I call them ruthless, because they don't think emotionally at all, and they only take decisions which are their brain says yes to. Whereas some other people on totally opposite side, you would have seen that they think only emotionally, and we call them as emotional fools, because they cannot really come out with a brainy answer to a query, because they always think about what others feel, what others have to say, what others have to think about someone, and then they take their decisions. Whereas some others, like generally we call our bosses as ruthless, they don't have emotions and like that. So that's because the person has reached to that stage and hierarchy of the organization, and he's learned this art of thinking more from brain, because emotions may not always support the business growth. So in that sense, I mentioned about the slant.
Kshitija, may I ask one more question? Kshitija, it is a PV here.
Yes, hi,
Good evening,
Prashant,
how are you?
Prashant.
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. Kshitija, one pattern I want to talk about. The pattern of writing is when you write, for an example, momentum, momentum. So what happens is M is same, E is same, N is same, U is same. So it looks like a graph of a ECG.
Yes.
Okay, this is one pattern. And second pattern is that when you start writing something at the end of the word, when you know that you know this word, so at the end of the word you just scribble something. For example, you talk about confidence. Okay, so you write confi den. So you den, you just leave dash dash, like you just draw the line.
Yeah.
So what do you say about this pattern, please?
Okay. So yes, again, it comes back to the to a new aspect, new trait, which I could not speak about due to lack of time, is called as connections. So connections between two words, so they could be garland-like connections, wherein they go in the momentum, like you said, like an ECG.
Yeah.
Sometimes they could be just very straight and scribbled, like a thread. Extremely curt, so you have very clear strokes coming on the left and right side, etc. So this again is another area which we use to analyze. So I would again, I always have this disclaimer that this is generalized comment about something. So generally people who write thread like, which you said, confidence, the C and E last two letters are not clearly written because you know the word already, you just want to scribble. So again, I say that such people are generally fast thinkers. One, they are extremely efficient, so they don't want to waste their time on such things, and they are very like some number of at some instances you can also say that these people who write very hastily or thread-like are also sharp and curt in their behavior. So people who are sharp, curt, or were very shrewd, as we call them, generally tend to write a thread-like handwriting. Whereas some people who write a very sing-a-song pattern, a very clear pattern, same way of writing momentum. So generally we say that it's like print, as if you printed it. You like write some letters like that. So people who write in a printed manner or a print-like handwriting are said to be extremely careful about the details, are said to be what you can say, extremely particular about things. They want things in a particular fashion, in a particular manner. They don't like changes of place, changes of people very often. So again, a very generalized trait, but yes, this is called as connections, which we use in handwriting analysis.
Is it doctor versus teacher?
Sorry?
Is it doctor versus teacher? When they give you prescriptions?
Yeah, in a way, yes. In a way, yes.
Kshitija, one more thing.
Yes.
It is said and probably experienced also to a certain extent. Habit of procrastination can be easily understood by the way handwriting is presented.
Yes. So you want the trait? Sorry, I didn't get the question. Okay.
Procrastination can be easily understood.
Yes,
by
definitely.
handwriting.
But again, it is a mixture of 4 or 5 aspects together that we use to find the procrastination.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, madam. Although I joined a little late,
Yeah.
but I could gather quite a lot from the question answers. I just got one. Of course, this must have been covered during your the process of your presentation or your talk.
Yeah.
These days, of course, having a lot of work being done online and through emails and things like that. So the utilization of hand in terms of writing has literally gone down. Does it affect your natural instinct or natural trend as far as reading the handwriting is concerned?
Yes, a very good question and has been asked to me at many forums. Yes, definitely. I mean, the overall writing has reduced. I just said that in the beginning of the session also. And definitely it would affect your habit of writing. But I won't say it affects you as a person. It affects you as a or it affects your traits, personality traits within you. So when you write, even though you don't write very often, but when you write, you will definitely showcase those traits which are there inside you in that handwriting. And as I again said, that if the handwriting analyst is having good enough knowledge about those traits, then he can ignore the fact that you are not used to writing, because that's not very clearly seen in the handwriting. But definitely from the strokes, the same personality issues come out, which otherwise a regular writer also can come out with. Again,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, one more thing that I would like to add to this is, nowadays people have started analyzing the emails and the messages also. Because even in messages, you would see sometimes, for example, if you today are sending a message to a friend that let's join this session at 5:30, and if you are a person who is a fast thinker or who's really busy in his work, you will never write 5:30. You'll always write 5:30, like 530. So that people have started coming out with traits even in messages and emails also today. Or sometimes some people have a habit of writing. Suppose I want to say okay to someone, some people would just say okay, like letter O, letter K. Some people would reply like okay, AY, okay, a complete word. Some people say okay, and that K is at least 7-8 times, okay, like that. I mean, so even for these, from these answers, you can understand a lot about the person. So that's again something that handwriting analysis in itself is very not very well developed yet, and this is even faster growth in technology. But yes, people and thinkers are on those lines.
Just to add here, my daughter just writes K for me.
That's new generation.
Totally missing.
True, but it only means that they are in a hurry. And in general, at that age, when you are in your young age, I mean, like as young as your children generally, you don't give a lot of attention to the details. So exactly, that's my point. So kids would just write it as K because they don't really mind. Whereas someone who's very particular about answering always would write OK, AY. Whereas someone who's not so particular but is sensible, sincere, would just write O and K. So that's probably something the way you analyze.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Kshitija, I have a palindrome question.
Yes.
Yeah, can handwriting emphasize or direct to what is the state of a mind of a person? That is one way. And does the mind of a state affect his handwriting as well? Vice versa.
Yes, the answer is yes to both the questions. Definitely it does. In fact, that is the primary reason why we analyze handwriting. It is said that, I mean, when I started studying this field, studying this subject, it was told to us that the way we hold a pen and the way these tips join together to hold a pen, the brain says, I mean, again, I am so sorry, I'm not a science student, so I might be going wrong somewhere in answering that, but this is what have been told to us, that your brain cells would send signals to your tips of the fingers, and whatever thoughts go on in your mind come through this tips of the finger, and the vibrations of that thoughts are somewhere written on the paper when you actually write. And that's why very clearly state of mind of a person can be studied. I mean, I was just curious, and so was checking the wish list that was recently produced online for Sushant Singh. We all are reading a lot about Sushant Singh. So Sushant Singh's wish list of 50 things that he wanted to do was very recently published. And such handwritings definitely help you understand. So even police today uses it as a tool for their, so if you see a suicide note, so I had once come across a suicide note which was written and the handwriting went going upward. I mean, the lines were such that they started at a level and they went up on the page. So this definitely means that the person who committed a suicide has not written this note, because a person who commits a suicide, his state of mind will be extremely bad at the time of suicide. He will be in depression, he will be in bad mood. So he is likely to write a slanting line of his handwriting. So such things, definitely state of mind is extremely clearly visible in handwriting. So you can even check whether a person is moody. His handwriting could have a lot of swings. So then you can generally analyze that he is a moody person. At times, you can also understand that the person has some physical trouble, because we generally divide the handwriting in 3 parts: the upper part, the middle part, and the lower part. And depending on which part has more dots of pen, we can also identify which section of the body can have trouble.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am. So I have a question. I listened to your presentation.
Yeah.
So I have got 2 patterns of writing. So writing English script. So one is the cursive one, wherein we try to connect all the alphabets to each other. And the second one is that writing separately. So actually I was going through my own handwriting. I tried to analyze about my handwriting, and I found this particular pattern. And that is maybe because when I was a child, I was at some point of time later, I was asked to go ahead with the cursive. And today I see that I noticed that whenever I am a structural engineer, and whenever I check drawings, and whenever I go through any research paper and a review of a research paper, I go for writing the separate one, the non-cursive one. And usually whenever I'm sitting and designing something and writing something, that time I go with the cursive one.
Correct.
So this is somewhere an ambiguity. Can you please comment on this?
Yes, sure. Very good question. So yes, I mean, sometimes some things are imbibed on us, or sometimes some things are enforced on us by our teachers or parents. That even many times you would have seen that a person who's with a left-hander is forced to write with his right hand, because that's the correct way of writing, is what parents taught us that time. So yes, from what you observed, I can say that whenever you are writing something which needs to be shown to outside world, you generally tend to write in separate letters. And when you are thinking about something, as you said, you're a structural engineer, and if you're thinking about designs, etc., so whenever it comes from your spinal cord, as we say, so like when you are driving, you don't have to think whether I should apply brakes now or not, because it's so much in your spinal cord, it's so much known to you. Similarly, this cursive, because you were taught asked to write that way, is so much you are so habituated to that whenever you really think from your brain and really apply brain, it goes back to the original way, original in the sense the way in which you were asked to write, and you practiced a lot in cursive, and so that time your cursive handwriting comes in the front. But when it comes to showing to people, so when you're reviewing a paper, you said research paper, that time I think you said it comes in print letters, right? So because you're trying to give some advice to someone, you're showing something to outside world, because your review will be seen, read by people, so that time you're showing something to the outside world. And in that case, your separate letters come into picture. Also, let me add to the point here that cursive handwriting means all my letters are joined to each other, and which also means that I'm very close to everyone I meet. But that cannot happen. As a child, you can do that. But as you grow, you cannot be associated very closely with everyone. And that's why when it is something very close to your heart, it comes in cursive, which you said about structural designs. But when it is something which is more of your routine work, or more of giving something to outside as an output, then it comes in the print.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. One last thing, that there is a notable thing that I observed, is that if you compare these 2 handwritings of mine, one cannot really identify that it is handwriting of the same person.
Yeah, they come out as very different. Yes, because the entire thought process, the approach, and the objective of writing is totally different.
Okay, thank you very much.
We can have 2 more questions because we are running out of time now.
Yes.
Kshitija, Swati here.
Hi, Swati.
Hi. I'm good. I had a question. I always thought Omi never liked writing, okay? And he actually is not very fond of writing. And that is why his writing till about 7th wasn't very great, okay? He would just write because he had to clear his exams and all. And he would fare good. But only thing is that over a period of time, it became legible. But to my understanding or to my aesthetic sense, I don't find it like really beautiful writing. Okay. So like he would write, he would know all the concepts. Obviously, he is very verbally very active. But then when he has to write, like if he has to write his name also, he would write Omkar. But if he's in his flow, he would write Omkar with small letter also. It doesn't bother him. That is one. And second is like his E. He knows E has to be in the second, like if we talk about 4 lines, then it has to be in middle 2 lines, and L has to be capital. So E, and if he's writing in the flow, he's in his thought process, his E and L would also be of same size. So more or less all of his letters would be same. So I thought maybe it has got some meaning to it, and I would want to know if there's something.
Definitely. So we would connect offline for sure about this, but generally for the benefit of the entire forum, I would just like to say that for a child, paying attention to minute details is never an agenda. So they never worry about paying attention to smaller details. But as a mother, and I know you personally, so as a person, you are extremely an aesthetically inclined person. So for you, definitely it could be torture to see his handwriting, I understand. But as a person, I would say that as you grow and as your thoughts become more and more clear, you start writing more and more legible. Because he, as a child, he never paid attention to studies. He never liked studies. Probably he was not very clear in his handwriting. As he started understanding that he has to study well, probably that being legible definitely changed. But I would like to connect to you offline on this, definitely.
Sure, I will. Thanks.
Thanks.
One last question now.
Yeah.
Anyone has?
I think, sir, all the questions are resolved.
Then I have a question. Just last question now. Yeah. Regarding the mind and mood, I had asked you the questions. Have you done any analysis of a same person in different moods? Let's say he was happy because of promotion, or he was dejected because of no increments, or his PhD was missed because of certain things, or in a different, or there was some sad incident at his home. Of a same person, did you do any analysis of the same person in different moods and his handwriting at that time?
No, I haven't done that personally, but I can definitely tell you that generally handwriting can change definitely up to 10 or 20% based on the moods. But as I said again, the basic traits don't change. So even if you're sad or happy, the basic way of writing a G or a Y or a T will not change.
Again, sub part of it, as you said, it is not your business, it is a hobby. Do you recommend or do you suggest many, or even for the Ajinkyan family, to at least get their handwriting analysis?
I would say
they are into. Again, it's not.
There's some.
Yes, you're audible. You're audible.
No,
Kshitija,
again, yeah. I'll just say, do you recommend or at least insist, not insist, but at least suggest people should do their handwriting analysis?
I would say if you feel that there are some aspects in your personality which need growth, then definitely you can connect. You're most welcome. I'm always there to support.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
I think then we should end the session here. A very special thanks to Kshitija and Dhanesh also. Dhanesh was just running after me, or rather making me run here and there. That is straight again by the handwriting. But then we had nice.
That's why I said nice things about him, because he really has that passion that if he knows about something very nice, then he feels that it should be known to everyone at large. So,
except that he doesn't want to share his nice things. That's what I have claimed.
I am going to make presentations, so don't worry. I'll
that way his handwriting says he is very lazy.
You can't say to a doctorate that he's lazy.
Anyway, I think definitely I'll have 3-4 sessions. Don't worry, sir.
We have 2 minutes
yes,
now.
Yes,
you can conclude the session, and then we can have a good talk again offline.